Let's talk about resurrection scrolls. Been talking about this a little bit lately, and the importance of being able to throw resurrection scrolls. This is a hotly contested topic. Okay, and we brought this up a few weeks ago, and my point was, I said, hey, every toon that you're serious about, every toon should be able to. You should make it a goal to no fail resurrection scrolls at endgame. Okay. Now this was upsetting. It was like very controversial at the time. It was almost a war that started. But we went back to the negotiation table, and somebody even said, "Hey, that's elitist to say that." And I said, "Hey, this isn't your mama's DDO. Okay, this isn't 2010. Yeah, if I would have been like, hey, you need to no-fail resurrection scrolls at endgame, and that was 2010, yeah, that's kind of elitist, because that's pretty tough to do if it's 2010, but this is not 2010. I would like to welcome you to 2022. Welcome to 2022. And in 2022 DDO, everybody can no-fail a resurrection scroll at endgame. And by everybody, I mean even a first lifer. Yes, you don't need any any past lives to no-fail resurrection scrolls at endgame. You don't need to even put any points in charisma. Wait, are you saying me as a first lifer with no points in charisma and no past lives? That was implied by the fact it was a first lifer. I was just saying it for emphasis. Can get no-fail resurrection scrolls at endgame? Yes, that is what I'm saying to you, and there's lots of ways to do it. Now, if this was 2010, my friend, well, that would have been a pretty tough thing to do for most builds. Charisma builds could do it, of course, maybe some others. But, in 2022, anybody can. First lifer, no points in charisma. Starting 8 charisma, first lifer. No past lives. Yes, you can do it. And there are lots of ways to do it. You can do it without tomes. Yes, without a charisma tome and without a UMD tome even. If you had those things, it would make it even easier. But with just 6 sources available to anybody, you can get to no fail. And I'm going to go over those sources. Okay? Because this isn't about making anybody feel bad. For those of you who are new to my content, all my content, 1,100 plus videos on YouTube, this ridiculous live stream every day, all of it. This is not, look what I can do. I don't make videos and do these live streams and be like, look what I can do, kids. No, this is look what you can do. I don't want anybody watching a video of mine being like, oh, Voodoo can do that because he's Voodoo, but I'm just me and I can't. No, that is the wrong takeaway. When you watch my videos on YouTube, what you should be thinking to yourself is this: Voodoo sucks, and if he can do it, then I can do it because he sucks. That's right. That's the takeaway. Okay? I'm nobody special. I'm just a man. A man who knows nothing. Okay? And if a man who knows nothing can get no-fail resurrection scrolls on a first lifer without tomes and without any starting charisma, then you can too. Yes, you can too is the takeaway. So how do we get on a first lifer with a starting 8 charisma, no past lives, to get no-fail resurrection scrolls at endgame? Well, I'm here to tell you. Number 1. Let's say 11 ranks in UMD. 11 ranks. We're just going to assume that you're cross-class, okay? So this isn't even assuming 23 points, which if it was a class skill, you could have. We're just going to assume it's a cross-class skill, 11 points in UMD. Skill points. UMD skill. Bada bing, bada boom. 11 points. 44 is the magic number. Right here. Resurrection scroll. 44. I'm still not convinced, Voodoo. I don't see how you're gonna get to 44 on a first lifer without a charisma tome and without a use magic device tome. I'm getting to that, okay? Trust me. So there's 11 from UMD. Everybody, my friends, everybody gets +1 to all skills per level when you're epic, and when you're 32, that means you have 12 copies of it. That's another 12 right there. 11 and 12 using the power of mathematics. Oh, I guess I'll give you our courtesy math warning, because we are about to use the power of mathematics. There we go. If you use the power of mathematics, 12 and 11 add 2, 23. Yeah, we're over halfway there from 2 sources, folks. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. On my first life, I don't have the skill points to be putting 11 points in the UMD. I already disagree with you. Well, fine. Look, I'm just giving you an example of a handful of sources. There are a ton of sources, okay? That's just one example, okay? If you can't max out your UMD, there are lots and lots of other sources, okay? So just stay with me. Okay, I'll listen to you for 10 more seconds, but if I'm not convinced in 10 seconds, I'm unsubscribing, I'm unfollowing, and I'm never listening to you again. I need more than 10 seconds. I need like a couple of, can you just give me a couple of minutes? Okay, fine, I'll give you a couple of minutes. Okay, so we're at 23. 11 points in use magic device. 12 everybody gets at endgame. That's 12 epic skills. Okay, everybody gets that. So that's 23 right there. All right, how about a command augment from Isle of Dread? That's another 7. Yeah, it's a blue augment. Gives you a +7. All right, so now we're at 23 + 7 is 30. Bada bing, bada boom. How about a +14 charisma augment? That's another 7 right there. Now we're at 37 in 4 sources. We're at 37 in 4 sources. How about a greater heroism augment that you can get from the end chest in immortality lessons in Feywild? Now we're up to 40. No, now we're up to 41. How about a good luck +3 augment from Saltmarsh? Now we're up to 44. Holy crap, we just got a first lifer with no starting points in charisma from 6 sources to no fail resurrection scrolls. That doesn't even count ship buffs. Doesn't even count ship buffs. Because your ship buffs would give you another point from charisma, and it would give you like 2 more because of an amenity. So that'd be like 3 more points right there. Bada bing, bada boom. There's lots more sources. What if you had a +5 UMD tome, which I believe is a great investment in your DDO future for your main. So if you're doing a bunch of past lives, that helps you get to throwing those, heal scrolls at level 9. You can get +5 from a tome, baby. +5 from a tome. There's another +5. What if you had a +8 supreme ability tome? That's +8 to your charisma. That's another 4 to UMD, baby. Look at all these sources. This is just scratching the surface. There's so many sources of UMD and charisma now. This isn't 2010. Right. You could even use like an insightful charisma augment. There would be another 2.5 points to UMD. It's not even using festive augment. Right. We're not talking about extravagant. We got you there without making a single special purchase from the store. I mean, yeah, I guess you would have to own Saltmarsh to get that, and Feywild and Isle of Dread. You'd have to own the expansions to be able to get the augments that I'm talking about, the command augment, the good luck 3, and the Greater Heroism augment. But you could always scroll Greater Heroism. You could always just get the good luck +2 augment instead of the +3. You can get a good luck +2 augment from Lahar for 20 tokens of the 12. So the point is, there's lots of ways to get to 44 UMD at level 32, even when you're a first lifer. And this is very important. And I'm not trying to come from a place of elitism. This is very, very important. Okay? When you're at endgame and you're playing at that level, if you're playing content that has a death timer, like Reaper mode has a death timer, and the higher skull you go, it's 6 seconds per skull. So if you're at like R10, you're talking about a 60-second death timer. If you're doing R4s, you're talking about a 24-second death timer. If you're doing raids, a lot of endgame raids have death timers. Okay? If you use a raised dead scroll on somebody in that kind of environment, you're setting them up for failure, because a raised dead scroll raises them at 10% health, which means anything, an arrow going by, a mob's grazing hit or whatever, like anything is going to wipe them out again and put them right back on timer. Right, 3 UMD and tier 1 icon Dracana. You could have 6 from tier 1, is it Shiradi? If you had Luck of Heroes, that would be 7. Or no, 6 plus 1. I don't know. If you had Luck of... No, there's like plus 3 good luck. If you have Luck of Heroes, it doubles it. That's 6, and Luck of Heroes is 1. So if you had the Luck of Heroes feat and you were in Shiradi, that's 7 to UMD right there. That's freaking tier 1, baby. Suck a free res scrolls. That's right. So if you're raising people in an environment where there's a death timer and you're using raised dead, you're really setting them up for failure, because anything is going to kill them. If they don't get a chance to get a heal off right away, anything is going to kill them like that. And now they're on timer again. So not only are you setting them up for failure, but the group too, because what if you're in a situation where like you need people alive, people are dying, right? And if you're just raising people with raised dead and they're going right back on timer, then that's that much longer until you can get everybody up again. But when you raise people with resurrection, they have 50% health, and that gives them a fighting chance to stay alive. I mean, I've seen people straight up yell at people for casting raised dead at them at endgame. I'm not saying you're going to get yelled at. I wouldn't yell at you. But when I see my guild, if this happens in my raids, I will say something. If it happens in my quests, to my guildies, I'll say something. I'm not going to be a douchebag about it. But I will say, please don't use raised dead at endgame. That's important. Like, I try to instill these values into my guildies. That's important. I want my guildies throwing resurrection scrolls at endgame. You can't afford them, I'll buy them for you. You don't know how to get there, I will show you. So, I think it's a good medium-term goal for any toon that you're serious about to get up to no-fail resurrection scrolls at endgame. We just explained how anybody could do it, even first lifers with no starting charisma can do it in DDO 2022. It doesn't mean you have to drop it. If you can't no-fail a resurrection scroll right now, I'm not trying to tell you need to drop everything and that you suck. I'm saying a good medium-term goal. What does that mean? It means over the course of the next several months, not at the end of the week, not at the end of today, not at the end of next week, but not 10 years from now. Medium-term goal means over the course of the next, 3-4 months, make some adjustments, and you can get there. Make some adjustments, make some changes maybe to your leveling routine to maybe include some of those quests that drop the augments that you want, But, maybe get a UMD tome, but we showed you that's not necessary. You don't even have to have a UMD tome. But I think that a plus 5 UMD tome is a wonderful investment in a main toon's future if you're doing a bunch of past lives. Because every single life you go through, you're going to be benefiting from that much extra use magic device skill. Again, letting you hit those heal wands and heal scrolls that much sooner. Letting you hit that UMD for that raised dead scroll that much sooner. Letting you hit the UMD for that resurrection scroll that much sooner. You know how baller you are when you're doing level 7 quests and your buddy dies and you're like, I got you, I'm going to throw raised dead. And you're like throwing raised dead scrolls with no problem at level 7. And then you get to level 11, that's the soonest you can use a resurrection scroll. And you're throwing resurrection scrolls at level 11, you're like, no problem, I got this. Like, everybody else in the parties would be like, wow, that person's a baller, right? And then you can walk around Stormreach and finally get some respect around here. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy or girl you want to be. You want to be that guy. The guy who's raising people at level 7. The guy who's no-failing heal scrolls at level 9. The guy who's tossing resurrection scrolls at level 11. That's the guy or girl you want to be. You don't want to be that guy who's level 32 in a Von 5 and you're like, oh, I don't have res scrolls. I don't have a ranged weapon. I don't have curse pots. Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that doesn't have the raised scrolls. Don't be the guy who doesn't have a ranged weapon. Don't be the guy who doesn't have curse pots. Don't be that guy. Be the guy who's ready, stepping up, saving the day, or girl. And you can be. And all my content is showing you, you know, talking about, like, yes, you can no-fail resurrection scrolls at endgame, even on a first lifer who'd put no points in charisma without a UMD tome. You can be that, don't forget, I'm always, don't forget to have a physical ranged weapon, because there's always going to be a ranged lever. There's lots and lots of content with ranged levers, Make sure you have a way to raise your friends. And if you can't no-fail a resurrection scroll right now, you should always, 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 always have some way to raise people from the dead. And so even if you can't no-fail resurrection scrolls, you should have raised dead, but just only use them for emergencies. Let other people use resurrection, and true resurrection if all you have is raised dead in the short term. But, in those emergency situations, even if you have a crap chance to do raised dead, let's say you only had a 10% chance to do a raised dead scroll. Well, that's better than nothing, because you don't want to be that guy when your buddy's dead in a quest and your buddy's like, hey, can you raise me? You don't want to be that guy that's like, I don't have raised dead scrolls. Don't be that guy. And I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad. I've been that guy, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad here. Okay, I'm just saying, like, these are the things that we want to be able to do in this game to make sure that we're playing, at a good level, that we're trying our best. But you don't have to put yourself out. Like, you don't have to be a baller to go out and buy some raised dead scrolls. We just explained you don't have to be some kind of baller to no-fail resurrection scrolls at endgame, even on a first lifer. These are just good standards and practices. All right, where was I?